It is noon on YouTube, but it is 5 o'clock somewhere, which means, of course, that the bar is open. Happy Monday to you. My name is Matthew Berry, your faithful bartender here. The Happy Hour bar is open. We've got a different kind of show for you today. You know, I've been trying to, as I've been starting this show, post-NBC, been trying to do a bunch of different things, and I have, what I think is a treat for you guys today. So today's episode features my interview with Russell Wilson. Yes, the Russell Wilson, dangerous Russ Wilson. I'm going to let Russ cook. Earlier this summer, I was at Fanatics Fest, which, if you've never been to Fanatics Fest, by the way, it is like one of the all-time great events. It's been my true honor to be there the last couple of years and do Fantasy Football Happy Hour live from Fanatics Fest each of the last couple of years. And this particular year, I sat down with Russell Wilson for a live broadcast. So you're going to get to see that, where I went through all sort of the big quarterback questions this year and talked to Russell a little bit about his post-playing career as well. So it's a really fun interview, and it's coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But first, I want to just answer some quarterback mailbag questions that I got in, and remind you, of course, that all of my stuff is up at fantasylife.com for free. My 100 Facts article, my Draft Day Manifesto, all my rankings, all for free on fantasylife.com. And if you need some extra help in your draft, may I suggest Fantasy Life Plus, which includes our new draft companion tool. It's basically like having me at your draft with you. All my ranks are in there, and my ranks are designed so that when you input your league settings into the tool, it basically takes my ranks and my projections and designs them specifically for your league and your league settings. So it's basically like taking me to your draft, but without me, stumbling everywhere and drinking all the booze. So highly recommended. Promo code Barry gets you 10% off. FantasyLife.com if you want to subscribe to Fantasy Life Plus. A brother would sure appreciate it. Also, the YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe, as the kids say. So do that. All right. We went to the Discord, we went to the Twitter machine, we got some questions for quarterback, and Fix It Fire, who's obviously always one of the regulars, says, hey, Matthew, if you don't get one of the top 3 quarterbacks, you want to go double QB late or get a guy in the middle, right? And I think the answer is, as always, it depends on your league. Seriously, it's one of the reasons why I'm pushing Fantasy Life Plus so hard, is that all the tools are designed with customization in mind. And so when you can input your league, and you can put multiple leagues, and so whatever your settings are, the tools will help give you advice specific to that league and that league setting. So look, assuming you're in a 12-team, 1 QB league, right? It also depends. Clearly, Josh Allen goes number 1. Usually Lamar Jackson goes number 2. But I've been to other leagues where I've seen, like, a round later, it's Burrow, it's Jaden Daniels, it's some of those guys. But I've also been in leagues where it's gone like 5 rounds before the number 3, 4, 5, and 6 quarterbacks go. So it sort of depends. If you're in the 6th round and Joe Burrow is still there, like, God bless, great value. Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, I think Jalen Hurts has a big year. I'm good on any of those guys. But having said that, if after Josh and Lamar go, and then very quickly after the rest of the guys go, then I have no problem waiting. If ever there was a year to wait on quarterback, this is the year. And we talked about this earlier in a show, but like when you think about Bo Nix is going as like QB 15, think about somebody, and we're going to talk about a couple guys in a few questions here. But when you think about some of the guys that are going late, I love Tyler Shuck. He's going as QB 20. I am at QB 17. So, yes, I think quarterback is deep enough this year. Baker Mayfield's going outside the top 20, but that's a guy that we've seen be a top 10 guy recently. Trevor Lawrence is going down around there. So I think there's a lot of talent and value late among quarterbacks. So, yes, if I don't get one of the top 3 quarterbacks, I would rather go quarterback late. Again, depending whether there's a guy in the 6th round that's in that middle section, I would pounce if it's if it's a Burrow type. All right, EdX63 says, how much is Trevor Lawrence's fantasy value being skewed by the 9 rushing touchdowns he had last season? And the answer is like, obviously somewhat, but maybe not as much as you think. Look, 9 rushing touchdowns, that's an outlier. But Trevor Lawrence has had 4 straight seasons with at least 3 rushing touchdowns. He's top 3 in the NFL among rushing quarterbacks since 2022 in terms of most rushing quarterbacks. So, it's always been part of his game for his career. 22% of his fantasy points have come from his legs. Do I expect 9 rushing touchdowns again? I don't. So, yes, it was skewed by that. But do I expect 3 to 4 to 5? Somewhere in that range, 3 to 5? Absolutely. I also think Travis Hunter being back healthy, second year in Liam Cohen's system, Jacoby Myers for a full season, the emergence of Parker Washington. Remember, Brenton Strange missed some time last year. Hopefully BTJ pops back to his rookie year kind of level. So I think Trevor Lawrence, the Traveler, is going to have a pretty good year. So I don't expect 9 rushing touchdowns again, but I do think he has a very good fantasy year, and his legs are part of the reason why. The Strees asks, who can be this year's Matthew Stafford, i.e. a pure pocket passer, very gaudy touchdown and yardage stats? Somebody that doesn't actually run, right? So I got 2 nominees for you. Number 1, how about Dak Prescott? Right, again, at this stage of his career, Dak Prescott doesn't really run anymore, but they do throw a lot. Under Brian Schottenheimer, it's been 3 years where he's either been the offensive coordinator or the head coach. And 3 years under Brian Schottenheimer, the Cowboys, I should say, are second in the NFL in pass attempts. I mean, they throw a lot. And so you've got Dak Prescott, who's a very good quarterback, now throwing to CeeDee Lamb, I call him 8s, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson. We're hearing good reports out about Ryan Flournoy. So Dak Prescott could easily have one of those kind of years and put it all together. And the other one I'll give you is Jared Goff. Very quietly, Jared Goff is literally the only quarterback in each of the past 3 seasons to have at least 4,500 passing yards and at least 30 passing touchdowns. Now, he doesn't run, so he doesn't get all the love, but could that 30 touchdowns suddenly get to 40? Are there a lot of dump-offs to Jahmyr Gibbs? Does new offense coordinator Drew Petzing kind of unlock something here in Jared Goff and get him to the next level? Jamison Williams, does he have that breakout we keep hoping for? We all like Sam Laporta. Amon-Ra is a legend. Isaac Tesla is coming on. So there's a lot of weapons in Detroit, I think, fully healthy. I do think Jared Goff is somebody that you could see going from the 30 to 40 range if things break the right way for Jared Goff. Well, it wouldn't be a chat without Valiant Vincent. So Valiant Vincent, he pops in, and Valiant Vincent asks, okay, what is the highest projected finish you could feasibly see for Cam Ward? QB 12 range, I'm actually very high on him with Daboll coming in, better options at wide receivers. That's Valiant Vincent. And I agree with you. I agree with your overall principle, right? That I think Brian Daboll, who has gotten production out of Jackson Dart, out of Daniel Jones, he's somebody that I think is a very good offensive mind, and they improved the offensive line, drafting Carnell Tate, adding Wan'Dale Robinson. I kind of like Gunnar Helm this year as a sleeper tight end. So I do think, better options at pass catcher. You've still got Shamari Dike from last year there. You got Calvin Ridley hanging around. So I think they'll be more aggressive in the passing attack. QB 12, when you think about how deep quarterback is, strikes me as a little bit high. But I think if everything goes right for Cam Ward, and he can get you a few points with his legs too, I don't expect 9 rushing touchdowns, but could he be Trevor Lawrence-ish? Could he get you 20 rushing yards a game? Something like that? I do think he could. And so I'd say QB 15. I'd say mid-tier QB 2 and a viable spot streamer in the right matchup is what I think is the right option for Cam Ward in terms of that's where I feel comfortable saying that's his highest ceiling. Again, and it's more a reflection on how deep the position is than any kind of reflection on Cam Ward, who I do like as a prospect. And I agree with the premise, Vincent, which is that there's a lot around Cam Ward these days that would make you think, okay, hey, he's going to take a leap this year. How big a leap, we'll wait to see, but he's definitely going to take a leap this year, and I don't mind a late-round flyer on him, especially in deeper leagues or 2-quarterback leagues. All right, speaking of quarterbacks, how about one of the best to ever do it? Russell Wilson here, now, live from Fanatics Fest earlier in the summer, the definitive Russell Wilson interview starts now.
He's fantasy football royalty and the host of Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry. Make some noise for Matthew Berry.
These are my people. Let's go. Let's go. We having a good time at Fanatics Fest so far? Thank you very much. Thank you for coming out. And boy, I have to tell you, Fanatics Fest, every single year it gets better and better, bigger and bigger. I never know how he does it, how Michael Rubin continues to improve this event, but he seems to do it. And I'm so excited because, this event, you always get great guests, you always get great access. And I'm very excited to introduce my guest today, Super Bowl champion, 10-time Pro Bowler, 352 passing touchdowns. He is the first player and only player in NFL history to reach both 40,000 passing yards and 5,000 rushing yards, Russell Wilson.
What's up, guys? What's up, my guy? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. What's up, girl? I like the jersey in the front.
Go.
The Seahawks 3 jersey. I love it. Let's go.
All right. So these are the things I want to say in front of you, Russell, because you and I have had a lot of conversations. You know I'm a fantasy guy. 2017, not only were you the number 1 quarterback in fantasy football, but despite playing behind, let's be candid, one of the worst offensive lines in football that year, Russell Wilson scored 37 of the Seahawks' 38 touchdowns that year. Like, unbelievable. I don't know if you even knew that. Like, you scored every touchdown except for one offensively, either throwing or running it yourself. You were a top 3 fantasy quarterback 3 different times, top 8 6 times. From 2012 to 2020, Russell Wilson finished as the number 1 quarterback in fantasy 9 straight years. The model of consistency, Russell Wilson. Unbelievable.
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate you, brother.
Fantasy football legend. All right, so we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, but I got a weird one to start with you, Russell.
All right, what is it?
I got a weird one. Before the Savannah Bananas were the Savannah Bananas, Jesse Cole, Yellow Tux Jesse, owned a summer collegiate team called the Gastonia Grizzlies, and Russell Wilson played for them in 2009. So here's my question. You were on Jesse Cole's team before he was Jesse Cole. Did that team have any wacky moves? Like, if he somehow convinced you to be a Savannah Banana, what would be your wackiest move there?
Well, first of all, Jesse Cole, funny story about Jesse. He was the GM of the team. He used to be the guy that bring all the energy like he still does today. He's the same guy today that he was back then. But the cool part about Jesse is he always had a vision for the fans. In Gastonia in North Carolina, we used to have the best fans, the beer garden, everybody be celebrating. I'd be playing second base, and everybody just having a great time. And the cool part was he would always do the introductions every game. And he'd have this big introduction. So it was like the hot spot for everybody to go in Gastonia, which is a small town. But I would definitely have my dance moves. I would have Sierra probably teach me a moonwalk or two. That'd probably be my, Juan Soto. Every time somebody throws a ball, I'd probably do a little moonwalk and get ready to hit again.
Yeah, you do have a pretty good coach that you have access to. There's no question about that. All right, so Jesse Cole is obviously an amazing entrepreneur, but so are you, Russ. Thanks to football, you have, by the way, not only thanks to Fanatics Fest, but thanks to 3 Brand, you are joining us here today. So these are insane numbers. I was looking these up. Insane numbers for your 3 Brand, your children's athleisure line. $100 million. They're doing over $100 million a year in sales. What's been the key to your success in 3 Brand off the field? What's been your key to success off the field, I guess, is the better question.
Well, that's a great question. I think, first of all, we have a kids line called 3 Brand. Yes, it's my number. But really what it is it represents mind, body, soul. 3 Brand, the next generation, sports, music, fashion. And it's really about the kids. I'm only 5'11", and I look like my guy up here in the front. We look like we could be brothers. But I'm only 5'11", and I really felt like to inspire the youth. These kids up here, I'm not 6'10". I'm not, 7 foot, Wimby over there. So for me, I felt like I could inspire kids through apparel, through mindset, through getting outside and moving, through the idea of what it takes to be great. And that's the soul part. That's the hard work part. And so I hand drew the logo. I pitched it to Nike and everything else, and then I pitched it to the Haddad family. Haddad's been my partners with it, and we've blown it up. It's been a massive business. We've been at Dick's, we've been at Macy's, from Ross's to TJ Maxx's to all these stores, Foot Lockers and more. But it's been amazing. We're all international as well. But I think what it is it's the design. We have a great design team. We have amazing people with 3 Brand, our kids line. And next, we got to do some 3 Brand for adults, I think. We got to do some.
Let's
you guys going to get 3 Brand for adults?
Merch. There we go.
All right, for men, for women? Yeah. All right, I'm going to get you guys. All right. So that's the next thing. But we're also working on our leagues, 3 Brand leagues, camps, tournaments, and doing all that for kids, And I think that's what we're really excited about, too, is doing that. And then the final piece is we said, hey, okay, if we're going to have camps and leagues and tournaments, we got to do jerseys, right? So I felt like kids' jerseys, we were doing that. So we've launched the 3 Brand Kids Jerseys line. You can go to 3brand.com to get jerseys, to get apparel. There's a lot more coming your way. So we're excited about it.
Congratulations on all of it. And as if you're not busy enough with 3 Brand, this year you're joining CBS Sports. Congratulations on the new gig. Congratulations on being on this side of the mic. We're all looking forward to seeing you on air. But here's the thing. So I've known you for years. You and I have known each other for years. I've interviewed you a bunch, and I've seen you socially. You are legitimately one of the nicest, most genuine people I've ever met. So when you're on TV as an analyst and you're friends with everyone in the league, are you going to be able to criticize them? And then a second question is that if and when you do, are you going to text them before or after?
You know, I think the big part, first of all, I thank you. I'm so excited about CBS. It's the best network. I'm so excited about them because it's all about the people behind CBS. You know, they have an amazing president, David Burson, Ross, the guy who does the talent, Drew, the whole team. But then you think about the people on the desk. The desk I get to be on with, James Brown. I get to be there, JB. I get to be there with Bill Cowher, the Hall of Fame coach, a winner. A guy I get to be with Nate Burleson, former receiver for the Seahawks, a good friend of mine, and Kyle Long, who I've known for years, our old lineman, who's so much talent, a guy I grew up with. And so I think the best part about, talking about the game I love is that you express yourself by what you see. There's no preconceived notions. It's really about, hey, this is what I would do in this situation and simplify it for the fans. The thing about TV is about 10 to 15 seconds to simplify it. And to the person who knows a ton of football, all the way to the person who is watching football for the very, very first time. And I think that's the important piece to it is can you paint a picture for the audience and take it, I've had the highest of highs to the lowest of lows sometimes, there's nothing I haven't been through that I can really understand and talk about. And so that's what I'm excited about and to be able to paint that picture for the fans.
It's going to be great. I know all those guys as well. You're going to do great. It's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to watching it. But I know the Jets wanted you in their QB room this year, but you're joining CBS. But here's my question. It's week 9, a Super Bowl contender. Their starting quarterback gets hurt. You get a call. Do you have an out in the CBS contract? If you get that call, would you consider it?
Well, first of all,
be honest with me.
I'm excited about CBS.
Of course.
That's where my mind's at. I'm always training. I know I can still spin it 70, 75 yards. So,
yes, sir.
If that were to be the right situation, but the right situation for me is CBS. I'm full in on that. I'm excited about it. For me, I've walked away from the game and just I'm grateful for the 14 years that I gave. To do that, 14 years, come on. I gave my whole life to it every day. And now I get to do it in a different way. It's phase 2 of my life, and I'm excited about that. So I'm excited about what God has in store for me in the media world. I get to learn from guys like you and pick your brain, and I'm excited about that. And so all the partnerships and the business that we're doing, that's where my head's at.
Well, you're going to be a natural. I know you're going to be great, but obviously I'm here for you if there's anything I can ever do for you. But let's do some of this analysis right now. Let's get you going. And I want to start with your former team, the Giants, here. And I'm curious about the connection between Malik Neighbors and Jackson Dart. Malik obviously coming off that tough injury. And last year, the two of them got very few reps together. And now, obviously, as Malik is recovering from the injury, they haven't had a chance to really work together. How concerned would you be as a quarterback when you're star wide receiver, you just haven't gotten those reps? Your thoughts on that coming into the season?
Well, I think, first of all, I go back to that Dallas game that we had last year with Malik and I. Me and him were tearing it up. Just how great he was. We hit 2 big bombs late in the game, I love who Malik Neighbors is, his mentality. He's become one of my closest friends in the NFL. He's kind of like a little brother to me. And he means the world to me. His work ethic, his mentality. I love how he competes. I love how he practices. And so as soon as he's ready to go and he's ready out there, whenever that is, I know he's going to be ready to rock and roll, and he's going to be his full self. And I know that will really help Jackson in a big way. I think Jackson's a tremendous young talent. I think he's got great work ethic, great mentality. I think the sky's the limit for him, and I'm rooting for him. That those two have an amazing connection for many years to come. And those are my guys. So, for me, I think because of their work ethic, I don't get overly concerned about it. I think that they're going to do all the right things, and they got a tremendous coach in Harbaugh.
So you said Malik Neighbors is one of your closest friends in the NFL. How's his rehab going? Are we going to see him week 1? What do you think?
I think he's doing a great job. But, his process is his process. The doctors will handle that, whatever it is, and I'm sure he'll be ready to go when it's time.
So there's a narrative out here about Jackson Dart in terms of him running. You were a rushing quarterback, obviously. There's a lot of people that say, like, hey, you can't put yourself in harm's way. Too many concussions. Jackson, you got to dial back the rushing. I'm curious as your thoughts on that storyline, and how easy or hard is it to, if you're built that way, the way you are, you would always take off as well, to not do that? Or is it just when you're on the field, you got to play how you play?
Well, I think the great thing about Jackson, he's a great competitor. That's what you want at quarterback, is a great competitor. So don't take that away from him. Let him compete and at the highest level. That's what it takes. It's a physical game, and he'll know how to adjust and be smart, and he'll do a great job of that.
I think they're both going to have great fantasy years. Are we Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbor fans here? Do we have a lot?
Yeah.
I hear it. I think they're both going to have big years. I want to stay on rushing quarterbacks here for a while. Russ, as we just talked about, over 5,000 rushing yards in your career. Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts last year both ran less last season than they had in previous seasons. So I'm just curious, as a veteran quarterback yourself, do you think it's a conscious decision as you get older to run less? Or do you think that year it was just sort of a fluky year where they didn't do it?
I think as the years go on, you kind of develop the game. The game adjusts and it changes. Those guys are the most talented guys in the game, how they run the football, how they throw the football. They're so versatile. I love watching those two guys play.
No question. By the way, both of them I have as top 5 fantasy quarterbacks this year. I want to talk a little bit more on Jalen Hurts in a second, but let's stay on Lamar. One of the knocks that you sort of heard in NFL rumors was that John Harbaugh might be a little bit too easy on Lamar. Obviously, he's a superstar. He's one of the faces of the NFL. Jesse Minter, their new head coach, is known as a tough guy, a get-in-your-face kind of guy. I'm curious how you think the coaching change helps Lamar Jackson this year. How will it affect him?
I don't think you can question John Harbaugh. I think John Harbaugh is a guy who's done amazing things in this league that only a few people in the world have done. And, I think he's a tremendous coach. I'm sure Jesse Minter's going to be a heck of a coach, too. His defenses are tough and nasty, and we'll see where that goes.
Fair enough. Lamar is my number 2 quarterback, by the way, in fantasy football this year. Only Josh Allen is number 1. Give me a second, sir. What do you think the impact the trade that we've been waiting for many years, it felt like, finally A.J. Brown gets traded to the New England Patriots. Great season last year from Drake May. What's the impact of A.J. Brown specifically for Drake May?
Well, I think
adding somebody like that.
Yeah, I think A.J. is just a tremendous talent. I'm not sure if he's coming here today. I'd love to see him because he's one of my favorite guys to watch. If he's coming to Fanatics Fest today or not, but I love how he competes for the football. He's a contested catch guy. I think A.J. Brown's going to have a great year. Sometimes new scenery is always good. We'll see how it goes. But I know his work ethic is tremendous. And I know I loved watching Drake and how talented he is as a player.
Yeah, and listen, I think there's a chip on A.J.'s shoulder. Obviously, it didn't end as probably either he or the Eagles would have wanted. Reunited with Mike Vrabel, his coach from Tennessee. He's going to be the alpha wide receiver on one of the better passing offenses of the NFL. I think A.J. Brown's going to have a very big year. So you and I are on the same page there. Let's now talk about Jalen Hurts, who now no longer has A.J. Brown. New offensive coordinator in Philadelphia, Sean Mannion, used to be the passing game coordinator in Green Bay. So former NFL quarterback Sean Mannion now goes to Philadelphia, one of the run-heaviest teams over the last 4 years. I'm curious what you see for the Eagles offense under Sean Mannion for Jalen Hurts without A.J. Brown.
Well, I've been around Sean, and man, Sean is we shared the room together. He's a smart guy. And because he's a smart guy, he'll know exactly what to do with Jalen, how to put him in the best positions possible. I think Jalen Hurts is a competitor. He's a winner. He's a Super Bowl champion. There's only so many black guys that have won the Super Bowl. I'm one of them, and he's one of them. You think about Doug Williams, the history of that, him winning. And you think about Patrick Mahomes. So I'm excited to just see how Jalen continues to mature on the field, and then how he's done that, because he's been excellent over the years, and just to see how much further he can go. I'm really excited about the talent that he has, the man that he is. I just love who he is as a person. He seems like a great guy, and I've gotten to know him over the distance and over the years, and So I'm excited to just understand, how far he's going to go, and I really believe in him.
I have a theory. I want you to tell me if you think this theory is right or if this is a dumb theory. But there was clearly tension between A.J. Brown and the Eagles. And I believe, and you tell me if I'm wrong on this one, Russell, but I believe when you're a quarterback in the NFL and you have an alpha wide receiver, there's a feeling that I got to get the ball to this guy. I got to get the rock to him. And that sometimes I felt like Jalen felt like he had to force the ball to A.J. Brown. And that even though A.J. Brown, I think he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, but that I actually think for the Philadelphia Eagles offense that there might be an addition by subtraction because now Jalen can spread it around. Devontae Smith's awesome, obviously, but now maybe he doesn't feel like sometimes he's got to get A.J. his. Is that a crazy theory, or do you like that theory?
It's not a crazy theory. It doesn't mean it's true, though.
Fair enough.
I think that you have to have great talent around you. I mean, let's not forget these guys won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. So you don't get to win it every year. You don't get to do it every time. And I think they had such a great connection. And listen, I think the media can spin things one way or the other. I think it's football. It's a business, and people sometimes. It's the time to move on and this and that. And from a business decision for the Eagles or for the Patriots, listen, it's a great football player in A.J. Brown. And Jalen Hurts is one of the all-time great players, So you can't stay together forever. And that's just how it works.
Fair enough. But am I right in the general premise of the question, which is that when you're a starting quarterback and you've got an alpha wide receiver, you feel like you got to get him the rock. Did you ever feel that like with DK?
Yeah, I feel like you always want to do that. Because that's what makes him an alpha.
Right.
When you can get the ball to the right guy at the right time. I've always believed that, playing quarterback is you're doing what you love to do. You're able to do that. And I am excited to talk about those things with CBS this year because, you get, as the season goes on, you get to see the maturation of chemistry. And when I'm on CBS, I get to see those things and get to watch the guys and call the guys to understand, what they're doing, how they're doing it, and, learn that process with each player, each chemistry guy that you have, each alpha dog that you have. And, I think that it takes the right quarterback, the right receiver, the right dog, and understanding, too, that you're not going to always – there's only one ball. Yeah. And that's the thing about the game. Everybody wants the ball, but it's a greatest team sport. And when you can do that, you got a great chance of winning.
At CBS often has AFC games, the best AFC game of the week. And so one of the teams I'm sure you'll be talking about a lot this year are the Chargers. I'm curious what you think the impact of Mike McDaniel on Justin Herbert will be this year.
Yeah, well, first of all, I think Justin is one of the most talented guys.
No question.
Spin the ball anywhere on the field. I love his competitive nature. He can run. I like how he ran a little bit last year, too, a little bit more. But I think Mike McDaniel, he's a wizard. And I think there'll be less pressure on him as a head coach this time around. And he'll get another head coaching opportunity, I bet. And I think he's a tremendous, tremendous coach. He had Miami dialing it up for years. And can they do that same thing with Justin?
I couldn't agree more. I am such a huge Mike McDaniel fan. As a play caller, he's so good at getting his guys in space. And then you think about what a good run game. And I'm with you. Sometimes when you're a head coach, you're the CEO of a football team. And you've got to deal with so many things that have nothing to do with actual football. And so having a guy like Jim Harbaugh that can take the pressure, that can handle the press, that can take that off and just let Mike dial up plays, to your point. And they've got a lot of weapons there. I think the Chargers are going to be a very fun team.
Let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
Who was your team growing up?
The Commanders.
Commanders?
Still the Commanders, yes.
Still the Commanders, okay. And where'd you grow up, Manny?
I lived in Virginia until I was 12 years old. So
I'm a VA boy. So that's why I asked. I had a feeling that you were a VA boy. I heard that. Where are you from? I love it. So good.
Guy in the stand saying he saw you in high school. I bet a lot of people say that. I'm not saying you're a liar, but I bet a lot of people, oh, Russ, I saw you this, I saw you this, I saw you that.
Where in Virginia are you from?
Charlottesville, Virginia. My dad taught at the University of Virginia, Wahoo Wah.
Hey, Wahoo Wah.
And so when I grew up, I was like 7 or 8 years old when Joe Gibbs took that team over. So my formative years was the Hogs and John Riggins and Joe Theismann and Doug Williams you mentioned. So I've been a Commanders Washington football team fan since I was 5 years old.
So
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
because, of course, I'm biased here. I have faith in 5. I'm a Jaden Daniels believer. I love his rookie year was amazing. Tough year last year with the injuries. What have you seen out of Jaden Daniels? What do you expect from him this year under David Blau, right, who's basically be running Ben Johnson's offense from Detroit?
Yeah, well, I think Jaden is a freak athlete. His ability to throw the ball, he can throw the ball anywhere on the field as well, similar to Justin. And I think the cool thing about Jaden is he's so young. He's got so many. We're gonna have a bright future to watch him develop over the years. I think that whole NFC East too as well. The quarterbacks, the playmakers they have.
Is that the division
position
with the best quarterbacks in football?
Well, I think they're the best, some of the best young quarterbacks for sure.
Yeah.
I think, I think that you think about Dak Prescott and what he's done over the years. He's a tremendous player, a guy who I love and watching and, competing against over the years. I love Brian Schottenheimer and who he is, and he coached me from 2018 to 2020. Just a killer mentality play caller. Obviously with Jalen Hurts, a guy who's a Super Bowl champion, a guy who I have tremendous respect for up here. And then obviously Jackson, being in the room with him last year and just seeing his development, that'd be great to just continue to watch him grow and the competitor that he is. I love it. I feel like me and him have got that same killer competitor in us, I may not do as much dancing, but we got the same mentality, and just who he is as a competitor, I genuinely love. And then Jaden, I think that he's got some of the most talent in the world. I don't even know what he runs a 40-yard dash in, but it's got to be a 4.3 something, low 4.3s. But he can run, he can fly.
Jaden's unbelievable, and so their window, they've got him on a rookie deal. Seattle took advantage of your rookie deal. That's a window in today's NFL. I feel like when you've got a superstar on a rookie contract. Now that you mentioned fantasy briefly there. Now that you're with CBS, you going to join a fantasy football league? Can we get you into fantasy football?
That's a good question.
You were a fantasy football superstar for so long.
Yeah.
Are you going to try it this year?
What'd you say? Is it 10 years in a row? 9 years in a row?
Yes.
Yeah, leading the fantasy world. I like real football.
I know.
I like playing it, but I may have to, look at fantasy. Let me think about it. That's a good question. I haven't thought about that yet.
I'm going to talk to your CBS guys and get you into a league.
If I do fantasy football, which I think maybe I should. You guys think I should do fantasy football?
Should Russ do?
All right.
Yeah.
If I do it, I gotta ping you and get you some advice, and I may have to have my weekly thoughts about fantasy as a whole.
We will talk about that. I got you. I would love that. We need you in the game. All right. 6-foot quarterback to 6-foot quarterback. How does Kyler Murray do in Minnesota?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm 6 foot. I'm not sure if Kyler's
I'm giving you 6 foot. All right.
Yeah, but I think that Kyler. It'll be really good to see. I'm excited about that first game because actually, I think we're going. CBS. I think we're talking about that game. It's one of the games we're excited about talking about. And one of the things about it is, as I get to watch these games, and that's the cool thing about being an analyst now is I get to sit back and watch these young quarterbacks and just inspire them, but also continue to talk to them, motivate them, but also just watch their greatness. And I'm excited to see where Kyler goes from Arizona, obviously to Minnesota. Kevin O'Connell is a great play caller, great head coach. He's one of my favorite coaches in the game, a guy who, played in the NFL. Kevin O'Connell is a
Why
wizard.
is he one of your favorite coaches?
I love his demeanor on the sideline. I love his communication with the quarterback. I've been around him. I've seen that the fact that he's, played the position, that's a unique thing. And number two, he puts his players in a great position to be successful. And I think he's done that over and over and over again. So it'll be interesting to watch, that process with him and Kyler. Be interesting to watch, is it JJ or what? But I think Kyler has, a unique ability to make people miss. And he's going to make some plays on the field for sure.
Yeah, I hope he uses his legs more this year. It feels like after the injury, he's been a little bit tentative last couple of seasons. I will say this. I would argue this, no disrespect to some of the great players he's played with in Arizona, but Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, Juwan Jennings, Jordan Addison, he's got some guys to throw to. And to your point, a great play caller, pretty good offensive line. He'll have a good running game behind him with Jones and Mason. So I think Kyler's going to have a big year this year.
Yeah, well, Justin Jefferson, you throw the ball anywhere in his vicinity, he's catching it.
Exactly,
anywhere.
right?
And so he's like Spider-Man. I feel like he can catch just anything that you throw near his way. And so that'll be a really cool marriage to watch and see that develop. I know Kevin O'Connell will put them in the great positions to be successful.
All right, I got some fun ones now for you, Russell.
I like the fun ones.
Right.
What we got?
All right. You throughout your 14-year NFL career, you sat through production meetings with TV before every game. What's the dumbest question you got asked before a game in one of those production meetings?
I would probably say somebody asked me, no names, what's the first play of the game? I'm not going to tell you the first play.
Right, of course.
But like you think about it, I've been around some amazing analysts, broadcast people. Just it's been a cool joyride. That's one of my favorite things of the week. Once the week's settled down, the game plan's in, you've done all your studying and everything else, you narrow it down. And when you narrow it down, you have that last few plays of the game that you want to start with. And it was a big matchup, and the person who asked me was connected to the other team we were playing. So I was like, I'm not giving you that answer.
No. Yeah, that's a pretty dumb one. But, listen, I appreciate the hustle, right? Don't hate the effort. What is the best part and what is the worst part about having a very famous wife?
The best part, the best part is just doing life together. We have 4 amazing kids, and there is no worst part. I mean, C is the soul of the earth. She's the best. You've met her before.
Yes. She's great.
She is. I thought I was kind with people. She's even better.
She's incredibly gracious.
Amazing mom, and she's just the best dancer in the world. She's got a new song called Yes that just dropped. I'm not sure if you guys had that chance to listen to it, but YES.
I see people nodding. They've already downloaded it. I can see.
It's a jam. It's been blowing up, and so we're excited just about all the things we got going on.
Let Russ cook. Did you love that or did you hate that when you were hearing that?
I love Let Russ cook. We were cooking, baby. We were cooking. Those years, 2018, 2020, and really the whole time in Seattle, we were cooking. But I think those years in particular were fun, and I had some playmakers, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, so many other guys, along the way. I think about guys like Doug Baldwin of those years, and just we had a lot of playmakers, and it was fun.
Give me your best Jameis Winston story.
I think Jameis is a story every single day.
I know.
I think that he's so passionate. Me and Jameis, every Thursday, we would, after practice, we would do like my little routine, and he would get on we'd do an uphill treadmill for 15, 20 minutes, get after it, walk backwards, and we would just have a dialogue together. We would share stories. He'd pick my brain, I'd pick his. We have a lot of conversations together, deep conversations. But I think the best part about Jameis is every day he's a comedian. I think he should do SNL. I'm throwing it out there now. And Jameis Winston, you should do SNL. We're gonna get you on SNL. You gotta bring on Jameis Winston. That's my Jameis Winston ask that we put him on SNL.
That's the best idea I've heard today. Jameis Winston on Saturday Night Live. Who would be down for that?
Let's go.
All right, come on.
Jameis,
once
you get on, just bring me on too. I'll be ready.
There you go. Yeah. All right, Jameis. We want you to do SNL, and we want a cameo for Russell. All right. In 2018, the Texas Rangers traded you to the Yankees for future considerations. Denver gave up 2 first-round picks, 2 seconds, and Noah Fant. You've actually been traded in 2 different sports. Which trade was the most surprising to you?
Well, I was excited for sure about both of them, but I think, I loved Seattle. Seattle still means the world to me, and that was probably one of the hardest things in my life, But I think when I think about, the Yankees, I always dreamed of being a Yankee. I grew up playing baseball. Baseball was my sport that I played, my whole life. And I remember Cashman called me and said, "Hey, Russ, it's Cash." I was like, "What's up, Cash?" He said, "Listen, we're signing you here. You're gonna be a New York Yankee." I'm like, "What? You're gonna be a New York Yankee?" And I just remember that feeling. My great uncle, he lived in New York for all these years, and he always wore his Yankee hat everywhere we went. And I think that just to put the Yankee hat on and wear the pinstripes, hit with Aaron Judge, Stanton, those guys, be in the locker room with them, pick their brains. And I still go down there, still these days.
Because you grew up a Yankees fan, right?
Yeah, I grew up a Yankees fan since I was a kid. Derek Jeter. I mean, how could we not love Derek Jeter? You know what I mean?
Come on.
And so
Captain, give it up.
yeah, so that memory of getting the call from Cashman was like, a dream of mine my whole life.
Yeah, you've had an incredible life. You've had a blessed life. One or two more, and then we'll take a few questions from the crowd. Is that cool? Can we take a few questions from the crowd? All right. Ed in the orange hat right there. Ed is going to go through with a microphone. So while you go out there, Ed, you were the guy that scouts got wrong for a dumb reason, because of your height. Give me another guy that you think scouts got wrong.
Got wrong.
Who's that guy right now that maybe scouts aren't as high on, but you are, that you've seen some tape or that you've played with?
I think one of the guys, our whole Seattle Seahawks class in 2012, they gave us an F grade. They said that we would never be great. Bruce Irvin wouldn't be great. They said that he wasn't this, he wasn't that, this, that, and the other. They said Bobby Wagner, I don't know if he's a long-term, linebacker. They said me, I'm too short, too small. He'll be a career backup, only lasts for a year or two. This and that, he should just go play baseball. So many others. J.R. Sweezy, he's a defensive player. Why should he play? And so I think that class alone was the craziest one because they gave us an F grade and we won a Super Bowl. All of us started. All of us played. They said Robert Turbin would never play in the NFL. He's not shifty enough. Can't do this. Can't do that. And I think that class in particular was a crazy special class. And I think Pete Carroll and John Schneider did a tremendous job of picking the right guys.
Yeah.
The guys with grit, the guys with mentality, the guys with work ethic, and the guys with great talent. And next thing you know, Bobby Wagner played 14 plus years with me as well. Played against each other.
We love him on the Commanders.
He's an all-time great. And so I think they got him wrong a little bit. They still, the outside world, the Seahawks, we got him right.
Yeah.
I think the outside world didn't know what he was going to be. I don't think they knew what we were going to be as a whole.
I got one last question, then we'll turn it over to you guys. You won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. What was it like watching them win it this year?
Well, it was special. I was at the game, just being in Levi Stadium, the Seahawks beating, the Patriots. That was huge, but also to be in that stadium.
Was it more meaningful because it was the Patriots?
I think it was a lot of time in between, but I think it's always just good when you win. I think
sure, of course.
Winning a Super Bowl, it's not easy to do, and I was so proud of Coach Mike McDonald, just a tremendous man, tremendous coach, tremendous leader of men, a brilliant mind. I think, to see Sam Darnold, all the things that he overcome, I love those, those kind of why not you stories, those stories where guys go through, tough moments and have been told they'll never be able to be successful or do it again. And he was able to do that. He went through a lot throughout his career so far. And to be able to do that, I was really proud of Sam. And I was texting him and telling him that throughout the way. And so, I think it was cool to see the blue and green win it again.
Yeah.
And it means the world to me for them to get their second Super Bowl, to be a part of that first one, to hold the trophy, to that feeling in MetLife Stadium in New York, that's forever. And I still, never forget that special day. And I know those guys won't either.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Ed, what do we have in the audience? We have a couple people here. All right, number
Right in the
three.
front, number
Guy
three,
showed up.
Seahawks
He's
jersey.
representing.
My name is Jason Mehta. I'm from Chesterfield County, Virginia.
Okay, VA, baby.
804, native. You're one of my biggest inspirations in life. You changed everything about how I look at life. You're a genuine human being, man. Never changed. But I just wanted to ask you, as an 804 native, what was your favorite part about growing up in Richmond, man?
Man, that's a good question. First of all, I appreciate the kind words. Man, I know that you've been a fan for life. I love the jersey, number 3 jersey. Seahawks means the world to me. So I've seen a few of those actually around here today. It's been cool. And I would say, man, growing up in Virginia, you drive into Virginia. Anybody who's ever driven into Virginia? Anybody ever driven into Virginia? Yeah. When you drive into Virginia, what's the first sign you see? Virginia is for lovers. Exactly. Man, I love living there, man. I think VA people, man, salt of the earth individuals, people. I got family that still live there today. And so growing up in Virginia, I love ball. We were always playing outside. We were always competing. We were always doing the best we could, to be outside. Didn't matter what the weather, didn't matter the circumstances. We were outside playing ball, tackle football, in the snow, acting like we were playing the Super Bowl. And sure enough, later on, 10, 12, 15 years later, I'm playing the Super Bowl in MetLife in New York. You know, I remember playing outside in the hot summer days. You know, we play, triple headers, and we play 3 games in one day, and playing shortstop and pitching and playing basketball. I wasn't as good of a basketball player. I could pass it and play good defense, but it was just fun playing ball. You know, my dad taking me and my brother to throw post routes and go routes at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, waking us up at 5:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to do it. Like, those are the memories. And that was what Virginia meant to me. It was the people. It was the experiences. It was the moments.
I love it. Next question. Good question.
Hey, how's it going, Russ? My name's Dom. I'm from Long Island, just around here.
What's up, Dom?
What's one teammate you wish you could have played with more, or somebody from the past or present that you wish you could have played with?
Great question. I think the teammates I wish I played with more, Cortland Sutton would have been one of them. I think we had an amazing connection.
Yeah.
I mean, me and him were killing it. I remember one particular game, Buffalo Bills, Monday Night Football. I had a double spin move. I said, hey, stay alive on this play. And I just found him in the back corner, toe tapped it, boom. I remember one-on-one matchups. We had so many comeback wins, me and him, the team, but me and him just having that connection in key moments. He had a great feel for the game. That's my brother for life, Cortland Sutton. DK Metcalf, obviously, we had to play a lot more years together, but I felt like there was still more to do. But that's my brother for life too. I think guys in the past, I never forget, we played in Seattle. We played at Arizona, and I think we were about to play the 49ers. I think it was during COVID, or maybe it was one of those years. But I remember Jerry Rice. He's like, Russ, I've always wanted to catch a pass from you. Can I run a route for you? I was like, what? You want to catch a pass from me? I want to throw one to you. And so he lined up in his suit and tie, ran a route, boom, hit him on the stride, on the money, 1 yard in front of the numbers, boom. He hit it, ran all the way to the end zone. So Jerry Rice would have been that guy I wish I got to play with.
That's very, very cool. And I'm with you. Cortland Sutton's insane. Like, Cortland Sutton makes how did he catch that, like, every single week? Cortland Sutton does that. Ed, what do we got over here?
Hey, Russ, my name is Darren Noel. I'm from Indiana. I wanted to ask, in your years, who was the toughest defensive player you had to go up against?
Yeah, I thought Aaron Donald was special. He had a freak ability to stop the run, but his freak ability to get to the quarterback and make plays. We would double team him every play, and he still find a way sometimes, I thought that he had some of the most special talent. I remember playing a guy like Champ Bailey, too. I remember going to the Super Bowl and, walking across from one side to the other, and, Peyton Manning doing the coin toss. I was doing the coin toss. I was a second-year player, captain. We were going out, and here comes Peyton Manning. Here comes DeMarcus Ware. Here comes Champ Bailey, some of the all-time greatest players. And I just remember that moment. And going against him over the years, Champ Bailey was a rock star, over the years, So there's a lot of guys I got to play against that were world class,
Champ was awesome. I hated when he left Washington as well. All right, what else? What do we have here, Ed?
First and foremost, God bless. Appreciate you coming out. I got to ask you, I've had your sub before. What's your favorite sub from any place?
You had my what before?
Your sub. Sandwich.
Sub. What's your favorite?
That's a classic.
So what's your question? Sorry.
What's your
favorite sandwich from any place?
What's your favorite sub or your
the
sub?
Danger Witch, baby.
Yeah.
Oh no, but it's so funny because everybody made fun of me for that commercial, but I shot that like way before that thing. But the Danger Witch was it though. Everybody was buying that thing. That's all I know. But man, I love. I'm an Italian guy. I love just Italian food in general. I love American food. I love Mexican. I can eat anything pretty much. I love the Japanese food. So, I love taking C out to dinner, the kids, all that. So it doesn't matter where it's from.
You mentioned Aaron Darnold, by the way. You think he comes back now that they got Miles?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think he's got the talent to come back, and that team's going to be really good this year. They got Stafford playing quarterback. They got all the weapons. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, we'd love to see him on the field again, so I'm hoping he does. I think we got time for one last question. What do you got?
Hi, Russ. I'm Dom. I'm from Brooklyn, Connecticut, and you've been an absolute inspiration for me. You're what made me love the Seahawks from day one.
Love the hat, brother. Super
I
Bowl
love
champ.
you, man. It's surreal I get to talk to you right now, but from the analyst that you are now and the amazing one that you're about to be, I need to know from you what your Super Bowl pick is going to be for this upcoming year.
That's a great question.
Great question.
It's hard not to pick and watch the Rams with all the talent they have. It's a tough division, but listen, that Seattle Seahawks team.
Come on.
That Seattle Seahawks team, can they go back to back? I'm excited about watching them. See if Sam Darnold can do it again. But I love Mike McDonald. I love the Seattle Seahawks. I love that team. I love how competitive they are. So I'm not going against my hometown team in Seattle. I'm gonna have to pick them, but so go Hawks, baby.
Go Hawks. By the way, on the AFC side of that question, I'll say the Bills. I say Josh Allen gets them over the hump this year. I'm sorry. I like the addition of DJ Moore. Would you argue that DJ Moore is the best wide receiver Josh has gotten to play with in his career?
Stephon Diggs pretty good. He's got some good guys. He's got some weapons. But I just love how Josh plays the game, man. Josh Allen's a dog. He's competitive. He can run. He can run it. He can throw it. He can do it all.
Yeah. Proud Fantasy Life investor.
I appreciate you guys.
Proud Fantasy Life investor Josh Allen. All right. Hey, really appreciate everyone for coming out. Thank you, Fanatics Fest, for having us.
Fanatics Fest, we're here.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour will be live Monday, August 3rd. We're back on Monday, August 3rd. So please, wherever you get your podcasts.
Love y'all.
We'll be on YouTube as well. Give it up for Super Bowl champion Russell Wilson.
Very, baby. Appreciate you, brother. Good to see you,
Appreciate you, my friend.
Let's go, man. I'll see y'all at
Thank you, Fanatics Fest. Thank you.